Welcome back to another video, guys. My name is Handeeman, and this is my wife, High Carb Hannah, also another popular YouTuber.
More popular.
Much more popular, like 5 times or almost 6 times more popular.
No.
About 5.5. So our channel is dedicated to creating videos to inspire and educate you guys if you want to live the off-grid dream. So we live in a 200 square foot tiny house, completely off-grid with rainwater harvesting and solar in the Sonoran Desert here. We're building a big garage right now, which is absolutely massive. And we're going to be building a future house, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in this video, because our plan is to extend our family from the 2 of us.
Maybe more cats, but more human babies.
More human babies. So my last video, we quickly documented my vasectomy reversal procedure. So for any of the guys out there that are wondering, if you have a vasectomy, yes, you can certainly get it reversed, and it can be done at a very high success rate. So I'm at about a week since I had the surgery and feeling much better. Soreness and tender is definitely going down in the nether region there. But a lot of the common questions that we saw, people were curious why I got a vasectomy in the first place, and then obviously why do we want to have children when we've talked about quite a bit why, you know, we didn't really want to have children.
Why we changed our mind about having kids.
So I got my vasectomy, I think I was like 27 years old when I got it, so I'm almost 32 now.
Before
my birthday,
we met.
Yeah, before we even met, so this is going way back. And so I'm turning 32 pretty soon, so it's almost 5 years since I had it. And at that time, I was traveling around the world. I really did not want to have children. I really kind of like my life as it is, and I knew that if I wanted to get a reversal, that it was certainly possible.
You knew that at the time?
Yeah, I definitely knew that you could get reversals. I thought that the percentage or the success rate was only like 40 or 50%, but that really depends on who does it for you. And I just enjoyed my life, and I thought, you know what, if I really wanted to have kids and say a reversal didn't work, then I could always adopt kids. But I do really think taking charge of your procreation is certainly really important. I think a lot of babies are born into the world with parents that are not ready to have parents. So I really didn't want to have a child that I wasn't ready to be able to take care of. And definitely at this point in our lives, we're definitely we're set up to be able to do that.
Yeah, which is one of the most, I think, at this point in our lives, the reason that we really want to have kids is because we want to be able to have that experience, first of all, of like being pregnant and having our own children, but also raising our children on our land and teaching them how to garden and just teaching them like everything that we know. But also because we're in a really good spot financially in our relationship, like everything in our life is going really well, and we have the money to really raise kids the way that we would want to, whereas in the past, like, we didn't really ever have money. And we have the land, and we have, you know. And
by what we mean by that is, like, we want to homeschool our children. So we want to be able to still, you know, work at home, be able to raise our kids at home with us, have them experience all the different aspects of our life, YouTube, building things, traveling around the world. So we really wanted to make sure that they were going to have like a really awesome life. And so that's probably one reason why, you know, right now we're thinking, yeah, this would be a really good time to do so.
Yeah. And before Derek and I even met, I don't know how much I really thought about kids. I mean, I definitely always wanted kids, but it wasn't an end-all be-all dream of mine that it had to happen. So when I met Derek, I mean, I had been vegan for a couple of years, and I knew the environmental impact of children and all that kind of stuff. So when he had a vasectomy, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I just loved him so much that I wanted to be with him.
Aww.
But I always thought, you know, I never ever thought that we would have our own children when we met and we got married. Like,
yeah, I didn't think so either.
I didn't even know you could get a vasectomy reversal until we moved to Tucson and saw the clinic here, and I thought it was funny that it was here. But like before that though, I always thought, you know, of like having a family and raising children and having children. It was always in the back of my head just because that's kind of ingrained in our society to think that way. So it was always something that I thought would happen, but it wasn't the biggest dream of my entire life. Whereas now I feel like it really is like the biggest dream of my life.
Yeah.
Now I want kids so badly that I just couldn't imagine not having them. Whereas before, I was in a different mindset and a different place in my life and all that kind of stuff. And I was willing to, put aside the dream of, even though it wasn't that big of a dream, but the idea of having kids to be with Derek. And then we always just said we would adopt.
And specifically for me, the more that we've lived out here, the more that I think I'm like, what, like that we've thought even, it's like, what are we going to do for the rest of our lives? We're just going to be hanging out together. And, we're not going to be able to experience having a family. So that the idea of having a family and raising our own children has really become so much more kind of like fascinating to us, or we've been so much more attracted to it. And like my brother just had a baby, so my niece Audrey, she's adorable. We got to meet her in Florida when we were there last year.
And I think that was a turning point for you.
Yeah, just like seeing this little bundle of joy, and I was just like, oh,
that was the first
so
time
sweet.
we ever even talked about anything. I remember we got in an Uber or something, and Derek just said, I could always have my vasectomy reversed. And it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, we're not going to have kids. I don't know. It was just kind of a fleeting thought. But I feel like when Derek was holding Audrey and he had that experience, I don't know, something just like clicked in your brain.
It was just like, it was really beautiful. And it's kind of funny for my parents because like I got a vasectomy. My brother he was trying to find like his dream girl that he could have a baby with, and it took him probably, I think he's like, 35 now? So he finally found the right girl, and they were able to have a baby together. So Brad and Tina, congratulations. Audrey's adorable. And yeah, it was just like kind of that experience where I was just like, wow, like I really want to have a child. And I know a lot of people mention that you can always adopt children. And when we looked at adoption, it is really expensive. Like it's not like you just go there and you get a baby, right? Like it can be between $30,000 to $40,000.
And it can take years. Because the other thing, after I posted a video talking about adoption, we were looking at private adoption firms, which are very expensive, but in the state of Arizona, you can actually become a foster parent and foster and basically adopt for free.
Oh, really?
Which is a whole nother experience. But I think since having the vasectomy reversal and just after talking about having kids, we decided we're going to try to have our own kids. And it's not that we're against adoption or anything like that. We would totally still adopt. It's just that, if we're open to having 2 or 3 children, like creating space for them, and we couldn't have our own kids, then we would definitely adopt. But we were like, it'd be cheaper and faster, and we don't even know. I highly doubt that we would even be approved to be a foster family.
That's another thing, because our lives are so alternative. And even though, like, from you guys watching our videos, like, that we'd be good parents and, we'd raise them in a very unique and kind of profound way, I guess.
Yeah, but that's not really...
But that's not how, an adoption agency would really see it. Because personally, like, I don't want my kids going to a public school. I 100% want my kids to be homeschooled. And for me, that's really important because I think the school system, I think it kind of sucks. And it doesn't really cater to individual children's needs. Whereas, like, when you're raising your own child and you're going through the homeschooling system, yeah, like, they want to learn, English and math and science and what other kind of like basic kind of like knowledge skills that they need to learn. But we can really cater what we teach them to what they're interested in. So if they're not interested in doing a lot of science or a lot of math or anything like that, we can say, all right, well, maybe you want to go a more creative route. And whatever route they decide, like, that's totally up to them and whatever interests them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for the adoption process, it would take us way longer, and it would end up being way more expensive, which, I mean, having a very randomized income, we don't really know how much money we're going to make every month and all this kind of stuff. So it just, money is very important to us and that kind of thing. So taking that into account and having our own children, me being able to have the experience of being pregnant and breastfeeding and giving birth and all that kind of stuff, like, that's very important to us as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if we couldn't have our own children, we would definitely adopt. It's just at this point in our life, we would never be approved for adoption. We have a 200 square foot house. I mean, it would have to be after our other house is completely built and finished, which is probably going to be 2 years at the most. Could we even apply for fostering? So it just depends, what happens down the road. If we're able to have our own children,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, but it would be years away. And I think just the whole beautiful part of the experience of becoming a mother and like having a child grow inside of me, that's our DNA and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, like I just think it's such a beautiful experience, and I would hate to miss out on that. But I also am not against adoption in any way.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be, you know, something we would look into.
I don't think we're gonna have an issue.
I would
getting
definitely
pregnant.
want to open that space
Yeah.
to other children if we weren't able to have our own,
Absolutely.
kind of thing.
And so this is something that I know a lot of you guys, you don't watch every single video that I've done, but I've mentioned this on a number of videos, is that we need like a main house on a foundation on our property. So when we first applied for all of our permits, we basically said we've got the tiny house where it is, which is not considered a permanent home. We're going to be building a garage, and then we're going to be building a main house as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already on that's already on our permits. And we actually have to get that house finished, I think, before the end of next year. So December 2019, I think, is the absolute last that we have to finish, basically the main house. So building a larger home that is going to be permanent on a foundation has always been in our plan. So like Hannah's not obviously too fond of the tiny house at times, but we've always known that we're going to be building a larger permanent house.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really exciting is that since we live in this county and we can do whatever we want with the building of it, is that we can get really creative. So we're really dead set on doing a rammed earth home. So it's going to be very energy efficient, and we're working with our buddy Ray, who's an architect, who you've seen in a couple of videos on a really nice design.
This fire pit.
We built this fire pit and these benches here, and we're really excited to do something very alternative, document the entire process, document obviously everything that we go through with having children, raising children. So we've got a lot of content coming up over the next 5 or 10 years. So subscribe and stay tuned. But yeah, we're just really excited about the entire process, and for me, like, it just seems like such a beautiful thing to be able to build a home that my family can live in and raise our children in that kind of unique, awesome way.
You build the home and I'll build the baby.
We both got our own roles. I can't build babies, but I can certainly build a house. And I do want to say on the last videos, there were so many amazing comments of
Mm-hmm.
support and prayers and well wishes that we're really appreciative of it. And
You
anything
guys
that
will
we've
be-
posted on Instagram too, like all the awesome well wishes and so many different baby stories that a lot of you guys would write out to us, and I read through pretty well most of them. And it was really nice to hear that obviously other people have had difficulties or troubles conceiving children. And I don't know if we're going to have a lot of difficulties, but it's nice to know that we're obviously not going to be alone in that journey.
And you guys will be the first to know when we're pregnant. I've actually seen a lot of women, instead of telling people at 3 months, they start actually documenting it on YouTube from the beginning, which I think is part beautiful and part could be hard for some people, because it is very high of a rate of miscarriage in the first 3 months. But also, like, that's part of the process, and I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about that when it happens. It's more of a private thing. So I've been contemplating sharing the entire thing on my YouTube channel or not, but I just think it's exciting. I don't even know if I would be able to wait 3 months to tell you guys. If
It'd be so exciting.
I'd have a positive test and be like, oh my god! But let me know what you think, because I've seen women doing that and just kind of sharing the whole process more raw and unedited, and not, you know, telling people when they're 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. Some people wait a long time, and that's beautiful that people can choose to share whatever they want when they want. But I feel like I would just want to share the whole thing, because I'm very just open like that, if you guys watch me sharing my weight loss journey and stuff like that. But I don't know.
We are very open and transparent, and that's one reason why you guys enjoy watching our videos, is because we don't bullshit you. We just kind of tell it like it is, and we're very open and honest. And that's one reason why we love YouTube, is because we can do that in an unedited way, and
there's no censoring, and there's no people telling us what to do, and
exactly,
like that.
we decide what goes on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
But I
that's
kind of
really
feel
nice.
like even with our fertility stuff going on, it might just be better to be more open and share more of it. But we don't know. I could already be pregnant. Who knows?
Who knows? We will find out probably pretty soon. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. We will catch you on the next video and talk to you soon. Peace.